It's time, my friends, for another Devo tip on the anti-kingdom. Let's look at that hideous strength called evil. Sometimes we have to say the quiet part out loud. Satan's anti-kingdom uses human intermediaries to attack God's people. So when a Syrian ruler named Antiochus threatened God's people, his power reached to the heavens, where it attacked the heavenly army, throwing some of the heavenly beings and some of the stars to the ground and trampling them. The army of heaven was restrained from responding to this rebellion, and truth was overthrown. That's Daniel chapter 8. Antiochus, it says, will become very strong, but not by his own power. An evil, celestial being empowered him to assault God's people. Such an unholy alliance, it says, would destroy many lives until it was broken, though not by human power. So what breaks the power of evil? After a shooter fired through the stained glass windows of Annunciation Catholic School, killing 2 children and injuring 16 others, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry said, "Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying." Well, Christians lifted their hearts to God in deep pain anyway. As Bishop Robert Barron said, prayer is not an escape, it's a lifeline. It's what gives courage to victims, hope to families, and strength to communities. Well, for Daniel, sometime later, he receives another vision about a great conflict that sends him reeling into mourning for 3 weeks. The angel Gabriel then appears as a man clothed in linen to explain that Michael, one of the chief princes, had to help him fight against the prince of Persia. The battle, however, wasn't over. According to Gabriel, he says, "I will now return to fight against the prince of Persia, and when I go out, behold, the prince of Greece will come. There is none who contends by my side against these, except Michael, your prince." That's Daniel chapter 10. Well, according to Sidney Page, he says, the betrayal of the princes of the nations in Daniel reveals that the unfolding of human history is not determined solely by the decisions made by human beings, for there is an unseen dimension of reality that must also be considered. There are malevolent forces in the universe that exercise a baneful influence in the social, political realm. It's very true, isn't it? In the Bible, it's interesting. The word prince can describe a human commander of an army, a celestial commander of God's army, like Michael is one of the chief princes, or it can mean the messianic commander of God's army, as he appeared to Joshua at one time. So it's not surprising that a couple of nefarious commanders of Satan's army are described as the Prince of Persia and the Prince of Greece. Are these evil princes still around? Yes, but Jesus stripped them of their power on the cross, according to Colossians 2:15. But why didn't he just annihilate them? Well, Paul tells us here in Ephesians that this is the plan of the mystery hidden for ages in God, who created all things, that through the church, the manifold wisdom of God might now be made known to the rulers and authorities in the heavenly places. Tertullian drives the point home hard back in the late 2nd century. He says, "We are not a new philosophy, but a divine revelation. That's why you can't just exterminate us. The more you kill, the more we are." He says the blood of the martyrs is the seat of the church. You frustrate your purpose because those who see us die wonder why we do. And when they find out, they join us. You see, my friends, when nothing makes sense, prayer is the only thing that carries us through to acts of goodness. It's acts of goodness that breaks the power of evil.